Have you ever found yourself sitting in your favorite chair, maybe with a cup of tea or coffee, looking out the window and wondering what life looks like for others your age who live alone? Maybe you've heard people talk about living solo after 60 as something to be pitied or even feared. But the truth is far more interesting and a lot more hopeful than most people realize. Today, I want to talk directly to you about what it really means to live alone without a partner after 60. This isn't just about statistics or stereotypes. It's about real life, real choices, and the unique joys and challenges that come with this stage of life. Whether you're already living on your own, thinking about it, or just curious, let's explore together what makes this experience so meaningful and how you can make the most of it. Let's get comfortable and dive right in. When you first find yourself living alone after 60, it can feel like the world has shifted beneath your feet. Maybe your partner has passed away, or perhaps your marriage ended, or you simply chose a solo path. Suddenly the house feels bigger and the quiet seems louder. It's easy to feel like you're the only one navigating this new chapter, but the truth is, millions of people are walking the same path, each with their own story. There's something quietly powerful about recognizing that you're not alone in living alone. One of the first things people notice in this new season is the deep, sometimes startling, sense of independence. After years of considering another person's needs, routines, and preferences, you suddenly have the freedom to shape your days exactly as you wish. For some, this is an exciting opportunity. Imagine waking up when you want, eating what you like, arranging your home just so, and pursuing interests that maybe got set aside years ago. For others, it's daunting at first. The silence can be unfamiliar, and the responsibility for every decision, from bills to meals, falls to you alone. But within that independence lies a surprising source of strength. I've spoken to many people who, after the initial adjustment, have come to value this autonomy. Take Margaret, for example. She spent 40 years married, raising children, always coordinating her schedule with her husband's. When she found herself alone, she felt lost. Mornings were the hardest. The absence of shared routines stung. But slowly, she began to reclaim her independence. She started going for morning walks, joined a local art class, and even learned to bake the bread she loved but never had time for. Now Margaret says she feels more in tune with herself than ever before. She's not just filling time, she's living intentionally. That's the key, living with intention. When you're on your own, every choice is truly yours. It might be as small as deciding what to watch on TV, or as big as planning a trip to a place you've always dreamed of visiting. Embracing this autonomy can be incredibly empowering. It's a chance to revisit old passions or discover entirely new ones. Maybe you loved to paint in your 20s, or you always wanted to learn a musical instrument, or perhaps you've dreamed of volunteering in your community. Now is the time to explore those interests without compromise. Of course, this independence isn't without its challenges. There are days when decision fatigue can set in, or when you simply miss the comfort of someone else's opinion. On those days, it helps to remind yourself that you're capable and resilient. Creating routines can offer a sense of stability. Simple things like having a set time for morning coffee, planning a regular walk, or keeping up with a favorite TV show can provide comforting structure. And remember, independence doesn't mean isolation. You can reach out to friends, family, or community groups whenever you need a little extra support or just some friendly conversation. One thing I've noticed is how many people discover a renewed sense of personal growth during this time. It's easy to think of your 60s and beyond as a time to slow down, but in reality, it's often a period of surprising transformation. Living alone can prompt you to learn new skills. Maybe you've never handled certain household tasks before, or you want to become more tech-savvy to keep in touch with family and friends. Every new skill you pick up, no matter how small, is a victory. It's proof that you're still growing, still learning, still moving forward. Let me share another story, this time about Robert. He spent most of his life working long hours with little time for hobbies. When his wife passed away, he found the prospect of living alone daunting. But he decided to approach each day as an opportunity. He took up gardening, something he'd never tried before, and found it deeply rewarding. Not only did he get to enjoy fresh tomatoes and herbs, but he also found a sense of peace and accomplishment in tending to his plants. Robert says that living alone has taught him that it's never too late to start something new or to find joy in unexpected places. It's also important to acknowledge the emotional side of independence. There are moments of loneliness, absolutely, but there are also moments of profound self-discovery. You get to know yourself in a new way, your preferences, your rhythms, your needs. Many people find that they develop a stronger sense of self-worth and confidence. You realize that you can rely on yourself, and that's a powerful thing. For anyone feeling uncertain about this journey, remember that independence is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Start small if you need to try a new recipe, rearrange a room, or sign up for a class. Celebrate your successes, no matter how minor they seem. Over time, you'll find that this chapter of life, while different from what came before, can be rich with possibility and meaning. So, as you sit in your favorite chair, looking out at the world, know that independence after 60 isn't just about being alone. It's about embracing freedom, discovering new strengths, and living life on your own terms. And with every choice you make, you're crafting a life that is uniquely, beautifully yours. As you continue to shape your days with newfound independence, something else begins to emerge, a deeper understanding of connection. It's a paradox that often surprises people. Living alone can actually heighten your appreciation for relationships, both old and new. When you're not sharing your home with a partner, every interaction outside your four walls can take on a new significance. You might find yourself savoring conversations with friends or family in a way you didn't before, or seeking out opportunities to meet new people who share your interests and outlook. Take Eleanor, for instance. She moved into her own apartment at 63 after decades of bustling family life. At first, the quiet felt overwhelming, but as she adjusted, she began to reach out more intentionally to her neighbors. She started by chatting over the garden fence, then joined a local book club. Those weekly meetings became a highlight, and she soon found herself invited for coffee or a walk in the park with new friends. Eleanor discovered that living alone didn't mean she had to feel lonely. In fact, it gave her the space and energy to nurture meaningful connections on her own terms. That's the beauty of it. Your relationships can become more intentional, more meaningful. You get to choose with whom you spend your time, and how much of it. Maybe you have a friend who shares your love of classic films, or a neighbor who enjoys gardening as much as you do. Perhaps you find yourself reconnecting with family members in new ways, like a weekly phone call with a grandchild, or a lunch date with a cousin you haven't seen in years. When you're not juggling the demands of a shared household, you often have more freedom to invest in these relationships. Of course, building and maintaining connections isn't always easy, especially if you're naturally introverted or if your social circle has shrunk over the years. But there are so many ways to reach out. Local community centers, libraries, and faith groups often offer activities tailored for seniors. You might sign up for a painting class, a walking group, or a bridge club. Many people are pleasantly surprised by how welcoming these groups can be and how quickly a sense of camaraderie blossoms. If getting out and about feels daunting, remember that even a simple phone call can brighten your day and someone else's as well. Technology, too, can be a wonderful tool for connection. It might seem intimidating at first, but learning to use video calls or social media can open up a whole new world. Imagine seeing your friends smile on a video chat or sharing photos with family who live far away. There are even online groups and forums where you can meet people who share your interests, whether that's knitting, history, or travel. You don't have to be a tech wizard. Just a willingness to learn is enough. And if you need help getting started, there are plenty of community resources and patient family members ready to lend a hand. It's also important to recognize and honor the unique shape that your connections can take. They don't have to look like anyone else's. Maybe you thrive on big gatherings, or perhaps you're happiest with one or two close confidants. There's no right or wrong way to build your social life. The key is finding what feels right for you. Some people discover a passion for volunteering, finding purpose and friendship in helping others. Others adopt a pet, forming a bond that brings daily joy and companionship. For many, it's a blend of all these things, a patchwork of relationships that support and enrich your life. Let's not forget about the everyday connections that can mean so much. A friendly wave to the mail carrier, a chat with the cashier at your local shop, or a smile exchanged with a fellow walker in the park. These small moments of human contact can lift your spirits and remind you that you're part of a larger community. Sometimes it's these simple gestures that make all the difference on a quiet day. Building connections as an older adult living alone often requires a bit of courage and creativity. It means being willing to put yourself out there, even if it feels awkward at first. But each step you take, no matter how small, strengthens your sense of belonging. You might even inspire others around you to do the same, creating a ripple effect of kindness and community. There will be days when you crave company and others when you relish solitude. Both are entirely normal and can coexist beautifully in your life. The key is to listen to yourself, to notice what you need, and to reach out when you want to share a laugh, a story, or simply some quiet companionship. Living alone doesn't mean living disconnected. In fact, it can open the door to relationships that are more rewarding and authentic than ever before. As you go about your daily routines, remember that every hello, every shared cup of tea, and every new friendship is a thread in the rich tapestry of your life. With each connection you make, you're weaving a network of support and joy that sustains you through life's ups and downs. And in doing so, you're proving that living alone is anything but lonely. It's an opportunity to connect more deeply, both with others and yourself. There's another truth that often emerges for people over 60 living alone, the remarkable resourcefulness and resilience that starts to shine through in everyday life. When you're the one making every decision, fixing what needs fixing, and adapting to changes on your own, you begin to realize just how capable you really are. This resourcefulness isn't something you're born with. It's something that grows over time, often out of necessity, and it can become one of your greatest strengths. Consider Grace, who found herself living alone in her 70s after her husband passed away. At first, she felt overwhelmed by all the practical tasks she'd never had to handle before, like dealing with home repairs or managing finances. She'll be the first to admit she was nervous the first time a pipe leaked under her sink. But rather than panic, she called a neighbor, watched a few online tutorials, and gave it a try herself before eventually calling a plumber. That small act, fixing something simple on her own, gave her a sense of pride that lingered for days. Each new challenge she faced, whether it was figuring out her insurance paperwork or learning to cook for one, added a layer to her confidence. She didn't have to do it all perfectly, she just had to keep going. And that's the heart of resourcefulness, not knowing everything from the start, but being willing to learn, ask, and try. Living alone also means you develop your own systems for getting things done. Maybe you keep a little notepad by the phone to jot down reminders, or you've learned to use your smartphone's calendar to keep track of appointments. Some people create routines for grocery shopping or meal planning to make life easier. Others set aside a certain day each week for household chores, or they find new ways to stay organized with a little help from technology or friendly neighbors. The specifics don't matter as much as the fact that you're adapting, solving problems, and proving to yourself sometimes daily that you're more than up to the task. This resilience isn't just about handling practical matters, it's also about how you cope with life's emotional ups and downs. Living alone, especially after many years with someone else, can bring waves of grief, nostalgia, or anxiety. But it can also reveal a hidden well of strength. Over time, you become more familiar with your emotions. You learn when you need to be gentle with yourself, when it's time to reach out for help, and when a walk in the fresh air or a favorite song can lift your spirits. Many people find comfort in journaling, meditation, or quiet reflection, giving themselves permission to feel whatever comes up and to move through it at their own pace. There's a certain pride that comes from knowing you can handle what life throws your way. I've heard countless stories of people who, after a rough patch, look back and realize just how far they've come. Whether it's learning to cook a meal from scratch, navigating a new bus route, or simply making it through a particularly lonely evening, each success, no matter how small, becomes a building block for greater confidence. This resilience grows quietly day by day until one day you realize you're handling things you once thought impossible. Resourcefulness often leads people to explore new ways of doing things they once took for granted. Maybe you've never changed a light bulb in a ceiling fixture before, or perhaps you're learning to shop online to avoid the hassle of busy stores. Some folks even discover a knack for DIY repairs or gardening. And if you hit a wall, there's no shame in asking for help. Friends, family, and neighbors often appreciate being invited in, and you may find that you're able to return the favor in ways you hadn't expected. Community can be built through shared challenges and solutions. For many, this stage of life becomes a time of learning, whether it's mastering a new appliance, navigating online banking, or picking up a hobby that requires a bit of patience and persistence. The willingness to try, to make mistakes, and to keep going is at the core of resilience. You don't have to become an expert overnight. Just being open to learning is enough. And each new skill, no matter how basic it may seem to someone else, is a testament to your adaptability and determination. It's also helpful to remember that it's okay to set boundaries and ask for support when you need it. Resourcefulness isn't about doing everything alone. It's about knowing when to take things on yourself and when to reach out. Maybe you call a neighbor for advice, hire someone for a tricky repair, or ask your children to walk you through a confusing letter. These actions don't make you any less independent. In fact, knowing when and how to seek help is a sign of real strength and wisdom. As you move through your days, you might even surprise yourself with your creativity and grit. Maybe you find new ways to make your home cozy, pick up clever tricks for keeping meals interesting, or create solutions to little challenges that pop up. Every time you face a problem and find a way through, you're reinforcing your own self-reliance. And through all of this, you're doing something remarkable. You're proving to yourself that age is not a barrier to growth, resourcefulness, or resilience. Living alone in your 60s, 70s, or beyond isn't about what you can't do. It's about discovering, often for the first time, just how much you're capable of. With each step, whether it's a leap or a shuffle, you're moving forward, building a life that is uniquely yours and inspiring others, perhaps without even realizing it, to do the same. Another powerful truth about living alone after 60 is how it can spark a renewed sense of purpose and meaning. When you have the space to listen to your own needs and interests, you often find yourself reflecting on what truly matters to you. For many, this stage of life becomes a time to focus not just on getting through each day, but on finding deeper fulfillment and joy in the ordinary moments and in the new adventures that unfold. Purpose looks different for everyone. Some people find meaning in creative pursuits. Maybe you've always wanted to write poetry, paint landscapes, or play an instrument. With the freedom that living alone brings, you can set aside time for these passions without worrying about anyone else's schedule. Others discover purpose in giving back. Volunteering, whether at a local food bank, animal shelter, or community garden, offers a sense of connection and accomplishment that can be incredibly rewarding. You might notice that the simple act of helping someone else, sharing a smile, or lending a hand fills your days with a sense of worth that can't be matched by anything else. Take Samuel, who retired at 66 and found himself with more free time than he'd ever had before. At first, the days stretched a bit too long, and he worried about feeling aimless. But he remembered how much he'd loved woodworking as a young man. He dusted off his old tools and started making small benches and birdhouses in his garage. Soon, neighbors began to notice his work, and he found himself teaching a few interested kids how to use a saw and hammer. Not only did Samuel rekindle his own passion, but he also built new relationships and became a mentor in his community. His days are now filled with projects, laughter, and the satisfaction of knowing he's making a difference. For others, purpose comes from nurturing relationships with children, grandchildren, or friends. Maybe you're the one who keeps family traditions alive, or perhaps you're the steady voice on the other end of the phone when someone needs to talk. Even simple routines like caring for a pet, tending a garden, or writing letters to loved ones can infuse daily life with a sense of responsibility and joy. Sometimes finding purpose means trying something entirely new. Maybe you sign up for a class at the local community center, start a daily walking routine, or join a group that hikes, cooks, or plays music together. It's never too late to be a beginner, and there's a special kind of excitement that comes with learning alongside others. You might feel nervous at first, but every step into the unknown is a step toward growth, and you'll likely inspire others just by showing up. Living alone gives you the chance to honor your own pace and preferences. There's no need to rush or compare your journey to anyone else's. If you want to spend an afternoon reading a novel, bird-watching in the park, or simply sitting quietly and enjoying a cup of tea, that's perfectly fine. Purpose isn't always about grand gestures. Often it's found in the small, steady rhythms of daily life, the projects you complete, the kindness you share, and the gratitude you feel for another day. And if you ever feel uncertain about your purpose, remember that it's natural for it to shift and change over time. Some seasons may be busier, filled with activities and social gatherings, while others might be quieter and more reflective. Both have value. What matters most is that you're living in a way that feels true to who you are now, honoring your unique strengths and interests. Sometimes your purpose is simply to enjoy the present moment, to savor a beautiful sunset or a favorite song, and to appreciate the life you've built. It's also okay to acknowledge that there will be days when purpose feels distant. Everyone experiences ups and downs, and there's no need to force positivity on tough days. On those occasions, gentle self-care, reaching out to a friend, or revisiting a favorite activity can help you reconnect with what matters most. Your purpose doesn't have to be constant or dramatic. It just needs to feel meaningful to you. You might be surprised by how much your sense of purpose can inspire others too. Friends, family, and even neighbors may look to you as a role model, drawing strength from your resilience, creativity, and willingness to embrace new challenges. Whether you realize it or not, you're showing those around you that life after 60 can be vibrant, fulfilling, and full of possibility. As you move through each day, remember that living alone opens up space for reflection, growth, and the pursuit of what truly lights you up inside. This time in your life is not just about managing on your own. It's about flourishing, discovering new joys, and finding meaning in places you may never have expected. The journey is yours, and every step you take is proof that purpose doesn't end with age. In many ways, it blooms brighter than ever. Even as you explore new purposes and rediscover old passions, one of the most uplifting truths about living alone after 60 is the freedom you have to define happiness on your own terms. This stage of life is an invitation to listen closely to your heart, to trust your instincts, and to shape your days around what truly brings you joy. For some, that means embracing quiet mornings with a favorite book, or taking long meandering walks just to see where the path leads. For others, it's the laughter shared with neighbors, the pride of a freshly painted room, or the satisfaction of learning something new, no matter how small. Happiness when you live alone isn't about filling every hour with activity or avoiding loneliness at all costs. It's about learning to appreciate your own company, to savor the small pleasures, and to let go of expectations that no longer serve you. You might find yourself relishing the freedom to decorate your home just the way you like, to cook meals that suit your tastes, or to spend an afternoon listening to music that stirs your soul. There's a special peace in making choices solely for your own well-being, without compromise or apology. Of course, happiness doesn't mean you never feel sad, frustrated, or lonely. Those emotions are part of the human experience at any age. But living alone offers a chance to tune in to what you need in each moment. Maybe you reach out for company when you crave it, or you give yourself permission to rest when you're tired. Over time, you become an expert in your own happiness, a skill that people of every age can admire. You discover that contentment can be found in a well-tended plant, a favorite TV show, or a phone call with a loved one. These moments, stitched together, create a tapestry of everyday joy. Let's not overlook the importance of self-kindness. When you live alone, it's easy to become your own harshest critic, but you also have the opportunity to become your biggest supporter. Celebrate your victories, even the tiny ones. Maybe you learned how to use a new app to talk to your grandkids, or you finally organized that closet you'd been meaning to tackle. Take pride in these accomplishments. Give yourself credit for every step forward, and remember that it's okay to have slower days too. Sometimes finding happiness is about giving yourself new experiences to look forward to. Plan a little outing, a trip to a museum, a picnic in the park, or even just a stroll through a new neighborhood. Treat yourself to something special now and then, whether it's a new book, a favorite dessert, or a bouquet of fresh flowers for your kitchen table. These small acts of self-care reinforce that you're deserving of joy every single day. You might also find that your outlook inspires those around you. Neighbors, friends, and family notice your willingness to embrace life, to keep learning, and to stay open to new possibilities. It's not about having all the answers or always being upbeat. It's about showing up for yourself, time and again, with curiosity and courage. This ripple effect can be powerful. You may never know just how much your resilience and positivity encourage others to face their own challenges with hope. As you continue along this path, remember that living alone after 60 is not a sentence to loneliness or limitation. It's an opportunity, a wide-open field where you get to decide how to spend your days, whom to invite into your life, and what dreams to pursue next. You are proof that life can be rich, rewarding, and even adventurous at every age. The truth is, people over 60 who live alone are some of the most resilient, creative, and inspiring individuals out there. So I'd love to hear from you. How have you found happiness and purpose living alone? What tips or stories can you share to encourage others on a similar path? Please share your experiences in the comments below. Your wisdom could be just what someone else needs to hear today. And if this video has uplifted or inspired you, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe for more conversations like this. There's a whole community out here, and your voice is an important part of it. Thank you for spending this time with me. Whether today finds you bustling with energy or taking things slow, know that you are valued, capable, and never truly alone. Until next time, take good care of yourself and keep embracing the beautiful journey of living life your way.